In the vibrant towns and cities of Renaissance Europe, long before the advent of the internet or smartphones, the market day functioned as a crucial hub for the exchange not only of goods, but also of news, ideas, and social connections. The bustling square or street where merchants set up stalls, peasants and nobles mingled, and artisans displayed their wares, was much more than a place to purchase bread or cloth. It was, in many ways, the social media of its age, a dynamic arena where face-to-face communication shaped the lives and decisions of the community. To understand this, it helps to consider the context of Renaissance society. From roughly the 14th to the 17th century, Europe experienced profound changes in art, science, politics, and culture. Towns grew in size and importance, along with a rising merchant class that fueled new economic and social interactions. However, communication technologies were limited. There was no printing press in widespread use until the mid-15th century, and even then, printed materials were costly and not instantly available to everyone. For most people, personal contact was the primary means of learning about the world beyond their own village. Market days were typically scheduled weekly or bi-weekly events that drew villagers, townsfolk, and traveling merchants. These gatherings were held in designated marketplace squares, such as Florence's Piazza della Signoria or London's Cheapside, that were centrally located and large enough to accommodate hundreds of people. Vendors from near and far displayed goods ranging from fresh produce and textiles to spices, metalwork, and books. Buyers compared prices, inspected quality, and carried out transactions largely by face-to-face negotiation. But buying and selling was only part of the market day's role. Because transportation and communication were slow and unreliable, marketplaces became the key nodes for the dissemination of news, both local and international. Merchants and travelers bringing goods from other regions also relayed information about political developments, military conflicts, or cultural trends. For example, news of the fall of Constantinople in 1453 would have spread through marketplace conversations, as merchants returning from the eastern Mediterranean recounted the event and its potential consequences for trade routes. Similarly, delving into romance and social bonds, marketplaces played an essential part in the social fabric of Renaissance communities. They were meeting places for people who might not otherwise cross paths. Young men and women, artisans and nobility, locals and foreigners. In towns like Venice or Paris, market squares often served as locations for courtships, arranged meetings, or the forging of new friendships. Notices might be shouted out or rudimentary messages shared by word of mouth. These spontaneous interactions were crucial in fostering community ties that bound the Renaissance world together. The social interaction was not only casual, but sometimes quite structured. Market days frequently included public performances, from music to street theater, fostering communal experiences that enhanced social cohesion. Records from cities like Nuremberg show that market days could combine commerce with entertainment, such as juggling, puppet shows, and storytelling, attracting diverse crowds and generating conversations on contemporary themes. These artistic displays, much like today's shareable content, sparked discussion and a sense of collective identity among diverse participants. Beyond the marketplace itself, the administrative and legal frameworks around market days further illustrate their significance. Town councils or guilds regulated these events to ensure fair trade and public order. Traders were often required to join guilds, which imposed rules on pricing, quality, and weight measures, thus building mutual trust within the commercial community. Guild members also spread news about technological innovations or regulatory changes during market gatherings, further reinforcing the market's role as a conduit of vital information. The influence of market days extended into political life as well. Public announcements of edicts, proclamations, and arrests were commonly read aloud in marketplaces, ensuring that even ordinary citizens were informed of new laws or city policies. During times of unrest, announcements of tax levies or conscription were delivered in these public forums. The market thus acted as a venue for authorities to communicate with the populace directly, reflecting a rudimentary form of public information distribution, akin to modern push notifications or news feeds. One illustrative case is the famous Medici family of Florence, whose rise to economic and political prominence was built in no small part on their involvement with market commerce and merchant networks. By actively participating in and controlling aspects of the city's economic hubs, they gained both wealth and influence. Their patronage of the arts and involvement in civic governance was closely tied to the social capital accumulated through these commercial interactions and the news they generated. Without face-to-face contact at markets or banking houses, such extensive influence would have been impossible. Trade routes connected marketplaces across regions, linking Northern Europe with the Italian city-states, the Low Countries with Spain and France, and beyond into Asia and Africa. Such connections facilitated the spread not just of goods like silk and spices, but ideas, medical knowledge, and scientific discoveries. For instance, the Renaissance saw the increasing exchange of botanical and anatomical knowledge, often discussed informally at markets or in accompanying fairs where apothecaries and scholars exchanged specimens and research findings. This mingling of commercial and intellectual exchange was central to the period's cultural advancements. Furthermore, the market was a place where cultural and linguistic diversity met. Merchants and travelers brought dialects, customs, and products from different lands, enriching local life. In port cities like Antwerp or Marseille, languages such as Flemish, Italian, French, and Arabic could be heard side by side. This multilingual environment enabled the exchange of knowledge across cultural boundaries, a phenomenon reflected in Renaissance humanism's goal of rediscovering classical knowledge from diverse sources. In some parts of Renaissance Europe, market days had a profound impact on social stratification and mobility. They allowed commoners to witness and even interact with members of the nobility or wealthy merchant class. Artisans and traders could present their work and grow their status, potentially moving upward in society's ranks. Similarly, market days functioned as informal job fairs, where journeymen could find apprenticeships or guild membership opportunities, contributing to the economic dynamism of the cities. The importance of personal reputation and trust during market interactions cannot be overstated. Letters of credit, promissory notes, and bills of exchange began to circulate steadily during the Renaissance, but their effectiveness depended heavily on personal relationships and face-to-face verification at markets or fairs. Merchants needed to be known and trusted across towns, making market days vital occasions to establish and reinforce these business networks. The system of honor and reputation governed much early capitalist activity, anchored in the direct encounters that markets made possible. With all these aspects combined, the Renaissance marketplace was the era's primary social media, an arena where commerce, culture, knowledge, and human connection intertwined. These gatherings shaped not only economic prosperity, but also the transmission of information, social structures, and political engagement. While today's digital platforms allow connections across enormous distances in real time, Renaissance market days reminded participants of the power and value of face-to-face communication, physical presence, and communal experience. Understanding the market day in this light offers fresh insight into how societies adapted to their communication constraints and creatively built networks that sustain their growth and creativity. It also highlights the fundamental human need to share experiences directly, a desire that persists despite technological change. From this arena of direct exchange, new opportunities arose for reshaping European life, whether in art, commerce, science, or politics, making the marketplace a vital stage for the Renaissance's unfolding drama. The story of the market day, then, is one of social innovation as much as economic activity, offering a lens through which to appreciate how people once connected, informed, and enriched each other before electronic media transformed the landscape centuries later.